So for me, my journey started, and I can't say why, because that was highly unusual. But during my third year summer break of engineering, I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan, and there is a naturopath ashram there, and I did my 1 month yoga course there. And that is the time typically, you can find a person like me at that age and all anywhere but a yoga center. But I ended up there. Now, reason might be any, and I learned all the kriya, the yogas, but I could not learn pranayama. So I continued with the Jal Niti, Sudra Niti, Kunjal, and all kind of kriyas and yoga, even after completing the course. And at that time, I was in Jamshedpur, so working with Tatas. So you have, initial part of your career. So this thing continued, and then 2, 3, or 4 years, of course, it started coming down. First, the nitis went away. Then the yoga went away. And then you get into the normal, your life, whether we call rat race, whether we call usual, your day-to-day routine work. So during that time, usual flu, and cough, cold, all those kind of things, I never had for those 4 years or 4 years plus. In spite of knowing the benefit, how the life takes over, that is the moral of this story, that you know the benefit and yet you go away from it. Then there was a gap of good 20 years. But the critical point here is, in my head, the statement, what the Guruji in that center said, pranayam can cure cancer. That was imprinted. And I would ask, sometimes your parents come or some other elder, and you say, hey, how do you do pranayam? And they say, very easy, do 1, 2, 3, 4. And you say, okay. But the easy it is, the easy, it goes out also. It's just in and out. Then 2018, I said, no. I was in India that time visiting, because then I was in Canada. So since 2000, I'm here. So 18, I went and I visited Coimbatore, Sadhguru, Isha Center. And there I learned, 1 hour free Omkar meditation and all those things. I said, wow, okay, I learned meditation. But same story, that 1 hour is just like a screensaver mode. The sooner it comes, sooner it goes. And then next year, which was 2019, February, I went again to India just for a week to help someone, because the person wouldn't have gone and done inner engineering by himself. So I said, okay, I'll come. We both will go and do this. So in a way, I thought I'm helping the other person. And in February, I learned Isha, through Isha, there's inner engineering, which is Sampavi. And again, engineering by background. So I had this, now I can say, a problem. Prove it to me or show me, and why kind of thing. So I started just measuring my blood pressure, that, okay, let me see, they said it will improve here, it will improve your lung capacity and all that. So the easiest thing was to measure your blood pressure. And though I was healthy, no issue, but I could still see it drop 20 points. And from a healthy, it became very healthy. And I said, okay, good, so it works. So even I recommended my wife and some other cousins or people around me. And they did it. 6 months later, and again, there is a story where that particular, like September 2019 and 2018 September, at that time I didn't know the word affirmation as such, but now I know technically you may call affirmation, but I had that I have to do 4 road trips, and it was going on for last 6, 7 years before my daughters goes to university, and they were like in all directions, from Newfoundland to California to Hawaii and, our Calgary, that Canadian area. So I did all 4 with it's not like 4 years, there was a gap. Some year you can do, some year your plan changes. So that was probably my biggest thing in my mind as an affirmation. So I finished that in August 2019, and September 2019, a month later, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. So you have no idea, it's coming and it's there in front of you. So that's the whole story. And again, later on, I realized that what I had for 20 years imprinted, that pranayam can cure cancer, that was one of the reasons. I had 4 reasons which I had to find out, but that was one, because I was carrying that thought in my mind. And that's the important thing. So at that time, if someone would have told me that this can do this, within the same summer break, I would have learned pranayama. I wouldn't have waited 20 years. But that's the story. That's why I work with youth. Hey, don't carry these thoughts. Any thoughts. Thoughts is energy. Energy is everything. And that comes the quantum side of it. So during the treatment, then I learned affirmation and I got what I wanted. I mean, the first thing they do is they treat you with radiation and they say they will shrink the tumor. And my affirmation was, I cannot see. And the tumor was gone with my radiation alone. Was nowhere to be seen. So I was happy that, wow, just affirmation did it. Of course, radiation was there, but even doctors were not expecting that. And then they said, no, we have to still do the surgery because it's gone, but the roots may still be there, wherever it was there. And then I realized the choice of my words for affirmation were good, but not good enough. I got what I wanted. Cannot see, I couldn't see, it's gone, which was not medically what they were expecting. And there comes one of the reasons why right there I started researching. And then on and on. And also I saw the power. And after my radiation, before my surgery, I went to Isha Center, Tennessee, and I did my advanced meditation, which is Shunya. And the power of meditation, power of energy, spirituality, whatever you may call it, every individual can take it their own way. But I had no side effect of any of the treatment, no side effect of chemo, no radiation effect, no nothing. And of course, if you try to tell this to doctors, they will just laugh. But I didn't try that. I know where it's going. So I said, it's good for me. You do your work. I will do mine. The story starts after that. So far is okay because medical science can take you there. But the question was, what after this? After that, no doctor can help you. No medicine. No any kind of allopathic thing that you can say, okay, this will take me wherever. No, now you are just a statistics. But this is the probability. And from that probability, how do you ensure from 0 to 100 is that means I knew I have to do something and something differently. And that's where during this process, I was introduced to Dr. Joe Dispenza and I did, that was COVID time. It has already hit. So then I did his 3 days online workshop. Came through, Greg Braden or Bruce Lipton. Bruce Lipton was not a workshop, but just reading or going through some of his work. But Greg Braden is the one actually, with his work, I could know that what I thought I was carrying was the reason because he ended up with pretty much similar thing in his life. So that introduced me to two things, Ayurveda and all those things, diet and whatnot. But the biggest issue was you listen to one master, he says go left, and exact same topic, you listen to some other master, he says go right. Now where do you go? So I decided, okay, then this is where I have to do my homework. So it is a very good doctor, Dr. William from, I think from Harvard. He's a heart surgeon. And in his one of the statement, he said, don't listen to me or anyone, do your own research, go to PubMed. I said, that's a great idea. So PUBMED, that's a website available to anyone. Go to it and all the medical research papers are available free of cost. So I said, okay, any topic I will do, doesn't matter spiritual topic or medical or diet or anything, I would research. And you'll be amazed, you will get all kinds of things, right? Not necessarily just treatment or, specific things. And that's where I started making my own decision. Not listening to one, but getting into the depth. And one thing was clear to me, no one topic can give me a full answer. Not possible. So that means I have to connect the dot. And that's what I started doing. Researching even on affirmation, where did I go wrong? Okay. And then they said, what could be next? What could be next? And then I saw what worked on me. Then I started sharing with my family. And that's where the story really exploded. Because my brother, who would never listen to anyone, and he said, well, when you say it makes a difference, then he started doing meditation, which was a surprise for everyone. And I said, okay. And I started making PowerPoint before I forget. And then what I do for myself, that's what I did for others. Make it as simple that as, what we say, great fiber can understand. So if anybody can understand without getting into the medical terminology or anything. Then you can share your knowledge to others, with others. The question still was how it works. If people say energy, distant energy, this and that, how do you prove? So that's where, and especially with Joe Dispenza, thanks to him, he explained it very well. And what he refers, Ayurveda. And he does refer to Chinese or Egyptian as well. It's not just Ayurveda. But the point is, it's not something that was discovered within the last 10 years or 20 years. We are talking thousands of years old story. Then another thing I got into it to prove all this, the energy, the pyramid, does it work and all that, is called BioWell, PIO-WELL.com. So I purchased that instrument. That instrument measures your energy. Because one of our 7 layers of the body is energy body. And Ayurveda tells us, before it comes to physical body, it will disturb your energy body. If your energy body is good, you will never have anything wrong in your physical body. So I said, okay, this I can use for me and my family. So to me, it was, okay, you buy the instrument, and get over it. But then I realized, no, you will get the scan. How do you interpret? Okay, now you do the basic course. Now you do the advanced course. So it became like another, like a small thesis kind of topic. But good thing it did me, I could prove the quantum side of it. I could see if I'm using, say, pyramid, does it really increase the energy or not? Or if I'm doing certain things or certain ways of meditation or affirmation, is it improving my energy or not? And that way I could guide myself, is it right, wrong, and what? And it was beyond any doubt the power of quantum or the quantum physics, because quantum physics explains what Newtonian physics cannot. Simple as that. So this was my journey, because like anything else, when people cannot say the guarantee or what will happen or not happen, because 99.99% is emptiness in this whole universe. Whether it is our cell, whether it is the universe we have, all the, planets, stars, sun, everything, but it's still, in spite of such big heavenly bodies we have, still the universe is 99.99% empty, which Newtonian physics cannot explain, but quantum physics can. So this was my journey. This was my reason. And of course, I tried that, hey, if anyone can start and learn and understand this, do when you're healthy, that's the best way. Don't start when you're in trouble. Start when you're healthy, and you will stay healthy with minimum effort. So I'm sure you can see the screen. So again, we'll talk about, one question which comes to everybody's mind, that, what time should I start? People think spirituality or meditation or these things are, once I get retired, I'll think about it. When I have nothing else to do, I will think about it. Why should I do? I'm healthy. I'm, in university, or I'm just beginning my career. I'm putting 20 hours for my goal to achieve something. And, those kind of thoughts or situation is very common. But another thing which is very common and which made me dive into this topic was the last 2 years. I just found weird that every now and then, every week, I will hear something about a person between age group 18 to 30. Whether it is heart issue, whether it is, critical illness, terminal illness, all kinds of things that we used to hear, really when people will get 50 plus or at least 60, 70 range. So why 18 to 30 age group is having the same kind of issues, health issues, that 20, 30, 40 years ago we used to hear only at a much later age? And simple thing comes, sometimes people say, oh, it's the lifestyle, it's the food, it's this and that. But that's, again, good but not good enough answer to me. So that's why I kept digging, and that's how this topic of this age along with the other combination came. So when we talk about age, what is age? How do you define? Biological age? Very simple. When you were born, what is the, based on calendar year, you can say my age is so and so. And if today I am, say, X, a year exactly later you come and it will be X plus 1. I have to do nothing. This is one area where you do nothing and you gain. Now, is it really making the difference? Then let's look into what we call the genetic age. Now, how do you define genetic age and what it is? Genetic age is defined by your genes, not by calendar. Your calendar will give you biological age, but your genes will tell you what is your genetic age. Now, the question is, we cannot talk to our genes. I cannot get into my body and say, hey, what's the age now? So, how to even get into this? We can go way deeper, but however, here we'll be limited to some key factors. Because once we get into this, we will say, okay, it is influenced by our epigenetics, the DNA, lifestyle, thoughts. These are some of the key things that we feel that, okay, it is impacting your age. Now, we will see one by one what DNA or epigenetics or lifestyle or thought, it does to us. But without getting too much into the biological science and all, but one thing is there that is very critical, that people vary widely in biological aging. That means when we look at someone, sometimes we say, oh, you look very young. I don't believe your age is so and so. On the other side, sometimes you meet a younger person and you're surprised the person looks much older. So both scenarios, we come across. So the slowest age gain is like 0.4 for each biological year. And the fastest is 2.5. So what does it mean? If I'm 20 years, it can take me to 50 years. That means my biological age may be 20, but I'm already at 50. So genetically, I'm 50 years, though I'm biologically only 20 years. Biologically, calendar-wise, I may be just 30 years, but genetically, I'm already at 75. So the question here comes, there are many factors that is impacting. But when we think we are young, I'm only 20, I'm only 30, this is not my time to worry about what I'm eating. I sleep late, I get up whatever time, my circadian rhythm is all upset. We don't worry about it. We think, no, I'm young, that means nothing will ever happen to me. But your genetic age is on the other side of the spectrum. If this is the case, then it is no different than a person whose biological and genetical age both are 50. You are exactly in the same scenario as far as your health issue is concerned. Now, on the other side, in the reverse order, a person could be 50, but if stress level and all, which we'll talk about, if that does not exist, the person is healthy, then your genetical age will be much less than your biological age. That means the person may be 50 years, but the genetical age could be 30, could be 25, because of the factor of 0.4. That means I'm so happy from inside, feeling blissful, I'm positive, doing the right thing in terms of eating or circadian rhythm, living in nature, or all those panchbhutas and everything, that means I'm much younger than my biological age. So it works in both directions. So this way you can ensure that you can stay healthy and happy. Now, factors which are negatively impacting your age, some of the key ones, high stress, which we know, like even if you talk to a, kid in the school, high school, university, and every one of them will say that, I don't have time. I have this to do, that to do, my music class, my piano class, or my sports, or my this subject or that subject. We are stressed out right at the very young age. What happens in the society today because of all kind of, digital media, social media, and all those kind of impact? So easily, people have issues with the relationship. And what happens, when you post something in social media and you don't get as many likes as you thought it will be, or people don't respond, immediately you start doubting yourself. And that has impacted our life tremendously nowadays. So, psychosocial stress, certain things have certainly changed in the last, you can say, decades because of these social media issues, which were not there before. There were other issues, but now those issues are changing and increasing in nature. People do not understand, or they are not aware what we say, the purpose of, your life. What is mine? Of course, when we talk of soul plan, pre-birth planning, that is a very high level thing, but at least what do I want? What do I like? What do I love to do? And we see very frequently youth having relationship, whether it's friends, family, which all contribute to your high stress. And all these factors puts you into a factor of, your genetical age much higher than your biological age. Now, when you do not have self-love, it really goes much deeper, because anything you do, first of all, you don't appreciate, you don't have any confidence in yourself, and everything starts going against you. It sounds so simple. But if we can switch, which is again a matter of thoughts, true love, gratitude, your positive outlook, feeling of oneness, which you all get, when we sit into meditation, when you do any kind of, whether you do yoga is also unique. If you do pranayama is also bringing you together. Again, the energies inside you, left side, right side, your Ida, Pingla, Nadi, whichever way you look at it, you are coming in the same, or you're moving in the same direction. You achieve the same goal. So these things, it's not a question of spirituality or thoughts. It has nothing to do with any religion or belief or faith. It has to do with who we are. I wish if someone creates a user manual for us, these will be the first chapter, unfortunately, which we do not read at all or do not come across in any schooling, university, or anywhere. We read all kind of science which we never use in our life. But this is basic fundamental for us, even an animal kingdom, even the plant kingdom. So a simple switch from lack of self-respect, self-esteem and all to, feeling of oneness, true love and all that can change your life. Now, when we are talking about your genetic age, what are the factors that are impacting? Like we talked about stress and all that, certainly it impacts. But one of the primary things that impacts directly is what we call telomeres. What is telomere? It comes from the enzyme telomerase. So basically, this is the enzyme, this is the raw material, you can say, which is reducing this telomere. Now, what does it do? The size of the telomere is very critical. The shorter telomere means weaker immune system. Shorter telomere means more inflammation. And you can imagine weaker immune system is not good for you. Similarly, inflammation. Any health issue, one of the fundamental root cause, you will always find inflammation. That means it will always be there. So if you have these two factors, you can immediately imagine shorter telomere means directly impacting your health. Now, if you have stress, what you get impacted first, your immune system and inflammation. So you see, your stress is giving you higher inflammation, lower immune system, which is same what you get this in telomere as well. So here is the relationship. Now, what is telomere? Without getting into too much science, this is how, when we look at the smallest level of our cell, the unit is a cell. Like you have a lot of cells make tissue, tissues will make different, tissues will make organ, different organs make a system, whether it's, cardiovascular system, muscular system, skeletal system, immune system. And then all the systems combined, you can say, makes part of our body. So the smallest unit is a cell. The cell that you cannot see by naked eyes. About its 10 microns diameter. Such a small thing that you cannot see. 10 micron. You have to put many zeros, inverted on a millimeter because it's a micron, much smaller than a millimeter. What is the length of DNA which is in this cell? 5 feet. Imagine the beauty of nature. The smallest unit we have, which is not even a millimeter, it contains a DNA which is 5 feet long. Only nature can do this. Even our science today cannot do this. How is it possible? Because it is coiled. It is very compressed. And we are not talking about one or two or this. You have 23 pairs of chromosomes in one cell. And each chromosome, what you see here, will have this string of DNA. DNA is our, like a recipe book. If you need something, it will say, okay, you want to prepare this recipe is here and prepare such and such. So DNA, genes, and all these things are producing proteins, which is our whole body. That is the background, why it is so important. If they are multiplying every day, so one thing which is very critical is, it's like photocopier machine. The cells divide. For us to live, cell has to divide because it is replacing the old and bringing new cells. But with every photocopy you may have seen, sometimes we say, no, this photocopy is not good. There is some line coming. Give me a good one. What do? You go and make another one. Imagine we have trillions of cells. When these cells divide, if that copy of new cell is not exact as the original one, what do you get? You have a situation here. Because now it is not same as the original. You may call it simply, mutation. There is a word which generally people say there is a mutation in the cell. What is mutation? Means your original and the new cell, not same. There is some error. So what nature has done, this is a chromosome and you see this tip, all 4 of them. This is telomere. It's kind of imagine you have a water bottle and this is a cap. Cap will ensure water doesn't get spilled. You can carry anywhere with you. If there is no cap, the water will spill and very soon you'll find an empty bottle in your hand. This cap ensures this integrity and multiplication, everything takes like it happens naturally and optimally. But with every division, it gets reduced because it also gets divided. So we have a limited number of times cell can divide. And based on that mathematical calculation, our age comes as 120 years. That means we can live 120 years without any other health issue or any other factor. But at 120, the length of telomeres will be so small that we cannot live any longer. Now you can look around. I know there is a person, 122 years, that's a recorded history. And then there is another person, 116. Even in India, there is a person living 108. But it's not like everybody's, or at least in millions of people reaching the age 120. And this is where the genetic age is coming. That means biological age, we can go up to 120, but depends on genetic age. We don't live up to 120 even, what is theoretically possible for us because of, again, stress, our thoughts and whatnot. So what's important here, why we are talking about meditation, why we are talking about quantum physics or quantum mechanics and all that, because Newtonian physics does not explain any of this. It can only explain what can be seen kind of thing. It will talk about electrons, neutrons and other things. But the moment we talk about the phenomena, that electrons, you cannot even trace, you cannot even see. It can change between physical and energy model. Like the moment you observe an electron, it will convert into energy. That means a waveform. Now, Newtonian physics cannot explain this. If you read, different literature or different grunts, you will see this kind of mention in, pick up any one, that how a person was physically present at two different places at the same time. Again, quantum physics can explain this because that's exactly what it explains. Newtonian physics cannot. Because that's what electron does. Now, these are the reasons that 99.9% emptiness, what is there, whether in cells, universe and all, it cannot be explained by Newtonian physics, but by quantum. And this is not new. Actually, the word quanta is not something new. It started like towards late 1860, 1890 and 1915. It was a German physicist who actually came up with this term. But after that, a lot of research, but it took pretty much a century, you can say, in like 1970s and all. Then lot of research and different things started, and the conventional science or scientists or that community started accepting and talking about this. But it took time. So there was a study done in 2017, and this was in California, 60 days. Do any kind of meditation, that was instructed to the people. And 20 out of 27 people got the result where they increased their telomeres. So imagine every division your telomere is reducing means your life, you are kind of reaching your finish line. But if you can increase your telomere, now you're extending your life just by meditation. And 74%, which is a very decent, very high percentage that we can say if 74% people can achieve this, that means it makes sense, we can do it and we all can do it. Many examples of, people getting over their genetic disorders, again, by meditation, by bringing the elevated emotion, positive elevated emotion in our life. What it tells is, it is possible. Do not worry whether it says 1 year, 2 years, 1 week, 2 weeks, 60 days, whatever. Because every person will take different time depending on your individual energy inside you. If I did something in 1 week, doesn't mean you also, maybe you can do it in 1 day, or maybe you will take 1 year. But the point here is doable or not? Does it work or not? Does it work on majority of people or not? Because exceptions are always there. I can do something that doesn't guarantee that it is scalable. Scalable means, can everyone do it? So how do you test? How do you check? These experiments can only be done when you believe in quantum physics, because otherwise Newtonian doesn't even talk about it. You cannot do this. Then nobody talks about it. Nobody will even care about it. So that's why it's important. Those people who are into this, they keep doing this more and more. And a lot of such research have already shown that how over 2200 of our genes can be modified, means you can get what we call the genetic, upgrade just by meditation alone. Now you may say 2200 and we have about 23,000 genes in our body. So it's only 10%, but that's the number which is scientifically proven. That does not mean only 10% can change. It's a matter of time, some more research, the numbers will increase. Only in the last 10, 15, 20 years, we have seen that at least this much, it can improve. So what it shows us, the power which we hold, just meditation can make, impact in our genes, in our health, in our lifespan by telomeres. Proven, not like it is, I believe, I feel, no, none of that is proven. What age we should start? Up to us, because biological age is good but not good enough indication. It means nothing, because inside what's going on, myself, only I know, no one else can know. And sometimes even I may not know. Because we think we are healthy. I have no stress. And we carry on whatever we are doing. So if we can take care of our thoughts alone, which is the key factor, and of course meditation is the way to go, then you do meditation, don't worry about any science and all. What it shows is when we do meditation, you are actually reversing your age. You are putting your genes to work that, okay, produce the good proteins, no mutation, please. Because you're taking care of your cell, your DNA, your chromosome, your telomeres, everything without knowing about it. Because the process of meditation does for you. All this information may help you that, okay, there is something like this, it may happen like that. So why should I do? If that is a question in front of you, it will give you some information for you to research more about and make your own call on this. But this is how, when we say age is just a number, this is another way to look at it, to define that. So masters, if you have any question, please feel free to ask about, this topic or anything related to it.
Something you mentioned that before it hits any diseases, before it touches our physical body, you mentioned that it touches the energy body first. So it is something like if a meditator could sense it at the energy level itself, they can repair, they can fix it right before it touches to the physical body. How can we aware of that, Matt?
So Leela, you want an easy answer or a tough one?
Both.
I'll give you an easy one.
Yeah, please.
So the easy thing is, if I have to worry about nothing, and someone says, just do this and rest will be taken care of, then that's the easy part. The explanation is, should I do even that easy part or not? Only to, balance that out in our mind, whether you call some trust, faith, whatever. So let's go back to Ayurveda, 5,000 years or plus older. So we are not talking something that someone came up in just last 20, 30 years. Ayurveda says for any issue in your body, there are 6 stages. Last stage, number 6, is when you have physical body, some issue, whether headache or whether arthritis, doesn't matter what, that is the last stage. What is fifth? What is fifth before the 6th? You get some symptoms. It starts knocking the door that, buddy, I am having stomachache, or I'm having headache, or I'm having bleeding or something.
Absolutely.
If you can listen to the symptom and fix it, you can avoid a lot of issues in the physical body. So this is number 5. But 5 means still problem has started, smaller scale, but started.
Yeah.
What is number 4? Number 4, you have a lot of toxins in your body. Toxins means anything that is not normal. It could be food item, it could be chemicals, nowadays your cosmetics, a lot of different factors, but even food items, right? Toxins. Now, what happens when you have a lot of toxins? They create imbalance in your energy, right? Because if it goes both ways, that means if your energy is imbalanced, body is not able to take care of toxins. Otherwise, body has mechanism to take care of toxins and throw them out.
Yeah.
So from fifth, you come to fourth and third. That means my imbalance is there. That means my body is not able to do what usually it does. Very simple example.
Some kind of low. Sometimes when we feel like low in our energy, even though we don't know what is going to happen. So maybe that is a stage where we can assess ourselves that our body is filled with the toxins or something like that.
Very much possible, because this is the symptom. Body is knocking, number 5.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens, suppose you have a car.
Yeah.
Keep changing the engine oil.
Yeah.
You can confidently say, I can, maintain this car for say 5 years or 10 years without any other major work. You don't change oil and keep running. You will say, no, I will never change. What was the issue? Very soon you will have problem in the engine because you did not do the basic. Why? A lot of dust particles, like kind of toxins. These are the toxins which degrade the oil, and it says this oil cannot do its function of lubrication and maintaining the engine. Engine will fail. Similarly, in our body can take care of it, but when we fail in our energy balance, this is the energy body. Now, why we have this energy imbalance in the body? Number 2 factor out of 6 is your lifestyle. The lifestyle includes your diet, what time you wake up, what time, whether you do any physical activity or not, or you're just, sitting whole day. And diet also, what you eat is only small part. How much you eat, what time you eat, how frequently you eat, all those things. If people sleep in the morning and, they are awake all night, you are against the circadian rhythm.
Yes.
This is part of lifestyle.
Yeah.
So lifestyle is causing energy imbalance. Energy imbalance causing toxins. Toxins giving you symptoms. Symptoms, if you don't take care, it becomes a full-fledged health issue.
Okay.
But this was still number 2. What is number 1? Your thoughts.
Yep.
Your thoughts is the number 1, the biggest factor, the most damaging, the most harmful. It stays with you 24/7, even if in your sleep it is doing its work. So the number 1 factor for any illness is your thought. Number 2 is lesser harmful is lifestyle. So if we can take care of these 2, thoughts and lifestyle, you will not have energy imbalance. You will not have toxins, no symptoms, no disease.
Absolutely.
So all you have to do is take care of your lifestyle and thoughts.
Yeah.
The most harmful we said is thoughts. How do you take care of that? Meditation. So if we forget about 3, 4, 5, 6, what it is, don't worry. If we just do meditation, you've taken care of a very big part of what can cause you down the road. And then the lifestyle means, again, the eating, the what time you wake up, sleep, circadian rhythm. You be aligned to the circadian. Circadian rhythm means your nature's. Sun will rise in the morning. It will not rise in the night. It's up to us whether we match or we say, no, sun, you have to match me. No, sorry, that won't happen. The choice is ours. But if we can take care of first 2, you don't have to worry about the other 4, because that will never happen.
Yeah.
This is the simple part. Of course, doing it, we know how simple or difficult it is. At least this is beyond any doubt. This is not I say or he or she. No, this is fact. This is Ayurveda.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very well explained. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, probably explain a little bit about the thoughts, because thoughts do come from the environment as well, from our society, right? From a conditioned mind. Because beauty definition might be, I have to be slim. So then in my head, I might just keep thinking I have to I have to get slim because that is what the society considers as beautiful, right? So is that a right thought? Because actually it might be prompting me to get into a healthy state, but the base of the thought might be coming from this conditioned mind, socially conditioned mind, that I have to get slim to become beautiful. So does that thought have enough power? Does it do the business right? Is it good enough?
So that's very, very critical, Shibuji, because question what you have asked, I think it connects to everyone in today's world. Everyone is in this situation where to decide what is right and what is wrong is very difficult. Now, the easy part here is if we can learn, and this is the unfortunate part we have to learn, though it comes naturally in animals or a baby, we have to learn how to listen to our heart. We have forgotten that. And we try others to tell us what is right or bad or wrong for me or in general, like whether to look inward or outward, that is the key question. We either forgotten or we don't even know, whichever way we put it, right? As a society, we have forgotten, I may say, because say 100 years ago or 200 years ago, very well the society was aware, they were doing it unknowingly. It was not written maybe. And then people started thinking if it is not proven, it is not science. And that's where the mess really happened in our thought process. So if I am thinking about something because of external factor, means what my friends are thinking or what my society or someone else wants to for me to be, then obviously it's totally environmental driven. Once we come into meditation, it gives us calmness, at least that's my experience. It gives us so much power that we can differentiate this. For example, I am still the same person. I'm now leaving, say, half an hour early for work. Or because of the meditation, I have this much calmness. Same, like in Toronto, we have 401. And anybody who knows Toronto, we have 16-lane highways and rush hour, they're all jam-packed, means people are crazy. So during that time, when someone tries to act smart or cuts you off or, gets ahead of you, people are honking or, raising their blood pressure instantly. But when you are calmer person, same environment will not impact you. You know how to work around or how to manage or how to live or how to coexist with that environment. So that way you have avoided all the issues which otherwise this environment would have triggered you. Very small example, say we did meditation and we are about 80 or 90 people. No one was bothering anyone, even if there were 90 people on this call, because we were cohesiveness, oneness. But when you go out in the market and everybody's screaming, shouting and all because nobody is in tune with anyone, you cannot sit and meditate in the middle of that place. But here you can easily do it. So it's a lot how we work on ourselves. Rather than working on changing the world, we have to change ourselves. That is the bottom line.
One question from Saurabh. By meditation, how to reach the higher levels of energy in quantum level? What alpha, beta music help in meditation and increase our energy?
Okay. So this alpha, beta wave music part help increasing. I would say, like, again, no right or wrong, but I would suggest to focus purely on meditation process. It will take you everywhere. Otherwise, your mind will be worried about, am I in beta, still beta, or have I reached delta, or I'm in alpha. You will not be able to measure whether you're in alpha, beta, theta, or gamma. Your experience or your body may have some idea, but why to have that an idea? Because it will distract you. It will take you out of meditation. So best would be that we just focus on the core process, which is observe your breath. Breath will take you where you want to be. Meditation increases your energy. What we call, at least to me, that's consciousness. It's nothing but your frequency you are increasing your frequency. Like you go in school, you go from grade 1 to 2, 3, 4, and you're increasing your wisdom, you're learning, and you're going higher and higher. So when you get into meditation, and if you are open, try to absorb different concepts and understand how the big picture may look like. That wisdom, along with your meditative process, increases your frequency. Frequency is nothing but energy. Your resonance increases, and don't worry about it. But if you have heard about aura, right? When people say, oh, look at this person has a very good vibes, or his face glows, whichever way you call it, it is nothing but reflection of internal energy. The more calm you are from inside, the more, if you have knowledge or wisdom, you will be helping others. So I strongly believe in 4 pillars of meditation. 1, the very first one, affirmation in combination with visualization. These 2. Then you may work on other 2 very powerful pillars: gratitude and forgiveness. If you can do these 4, your meditative power will go, again, I can tell you by my experience, like any level you want to be. So don't worry about measuring your energy or music or any other supportive thing. If we can combine just this, your meditative thing, you will have a wonderful meditative experience, plus the results that you will get.
I know you talked about the biological age versus the genetic age, right? The 0.4 to 2.5, which you had in your slide. Right? Is there a way to determine our genetic age?
See, for that, again, we'll have to go to the measurement of telomeres and, genetic thing, which is not easy. It can be doable. It's doable, certainly. But you have to get to the researchers who can really get to this thing, which is not accessible and, possible for everyone. But that's why I was saying, use this as an information to make up your mind, whether you trust or believe this thing or not. But this particular telomere and all this topic, what we are talking, if you go to the Nobel Prize, because this topic got the Nobel Prize at 2009, and that's how, this became so popular. So any of those 3, because it was a group of 3 scientists who got it, if you go through their research work or their books they have published, or just on the website, you will get more details, which will tell you the facts based on it, because otherwise, they don't give Nobel Prize without doing their homework as well. So that is the background on this. But don't worry whether you are increasing your telomere or not, because if science has proven that 60 days meditation does this, then just trust and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just had to get that out of my way. I saw the ratios. It's good. Thank you. It's always experiential, right? Experiential.
Took me time too. Sorry to interrupt, but it took me time too.
Does our past karmas impact our health? Even when we are living right now, in the present, does the past karmas, does it have a bearing right now on the health?
So I believe and I know the topic and impact and everything, but my one, in general, when I give my suggestion to anyone is, don't worry about karma. This is one of the 2 things, I will not talk about the second, but this is one where people get scared. Anyone, if we talk about karma, the first reaction will come as a negative one. Oh my God, I must have done something wrong in my past life. That's why I'm having this health issue or wealth issue or relationship issue, whatever. Immediately people say, I must have done something wrong. Please take that factor out. If you want a simple solution, if you want a deeper, because as Shibuji already said, we will leave you with the homework. We are not here to spoon feed you. Then you have to get into the soul plan or pre-birth planning. Whatever you do, you come with a plan. You plan who will be your spouse, and the way you combine is you want to learn something from the person. Whether your kids, whether your parents, you have picked, you have selected to learn something. Then within this, there is a you can say a concept of balancing of karmas. That means you have to say, example, in one life, if you experience how to give care, means you took care of someone, whether your son, whether a sibling, doesn't matter. Next time, whether same life or the next, you will receive care because the soul wants to experience. For soul, there is no good or bad. We in human form say, when I'm giving something, means donation or care I'm giving, so I'm good. But if I'm receiving, I'm bad. But for soul, there is no good and bad. As a soul, the syllabus says, give, receive. That means to pass, I have to do both. So whether same life or different, I give and I receive. So please don't think if something is happening which we call bad is a negative karma. Don't worry about it.
What is the path to true forgiveness?
So forgiveness, again, in a very summarized version, because that is a topic in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We do not forgive thinking that it is the right thing to do. Please do not forgive because you are fearful that if I don't forgive, I know this negative thought will stay inside, which is bad for me. So anything in life should not be based on fear. That is number one rule. Because anything you do with fear can never give you anything good. Why should you forgive? Only for yourself. Don't worry about the other person. Doesn't matter what the person did to you. You do only for yourself. Now, when you are forgiving, it should be so simple that even if the person, or if you remember the event, whatever had happened comes in front of you, you should have no reaction. Then you are forgiven. Just by saying I have forgiven you does not mean forgiveness is done. Sometimes people said something to me 20 years ago, I still remember. That means I have not forgiven. If by thinking of that event, I remember someone with anger and all, I have not forgiven. 20 years, every moment, every second, that negative energy is inside my body. Depending on the emotion, it will go and live near the organ which is linked with that emotion. That is why certain emotions get attached to your heart, to your, lungs or kidneys or prostate, or like why males have prostate and women have breast cancer, why it is so common, because of that specific emotion which we have now so common in our society. Emotion is nothing but chemicals produced in the body, different hormones. That's emotion. Emotion is not just thought. And because that chemical is stuck in our body, in our tissues and organ, we have not released it. Mm-hmm. Over a period of time, it becomes toxin for us. Even if it is a good thing, right? Yep. But it is stuck. We are not letting it go. In combination of that, it becomes toxin, and then it creates different kind of diseases in us. Arthritis is very common, and of course, all the way to critical or terminal illness, they're all linked with that.
There is another question which is about the correct lifestyle to be followed in a day. I believe you've already answered it in other questions, but if you don't mind summarizing it for us.
So lifestyle should be defined by you yourself first. Mm-hmm. Of course, if you are along with circadian rhythm, that's number one. That means your wake up time and sleep time. Work it out. I'm not saying get up at 4. You get up at 5, 6, whatever works. But please try to match. Why? Every 2 hours, like a clock, energy transfer from one organ to the other based on circadian rhythm. So suppose if in the night, the time is for stomach to digest, or liver to produce, juices and all that, then intestine and then secretion. That's happening in the night time. And you're working whole night and then you sleep in the early morning. So you are not in sync with your body. So you will create issues for yourself. Then comes eating, the biggest thing. What you eat, how much you eat, how frequently you eat, very critical. If you say, I don't want to make it complex, simple. Okay, do nothing. only two things you should remember. Give a gap at least 4 hours before to whatever, night snack, lunch, dinner, whatever. Do not keep eating like every 2 hours, this, that, or anything you eat is disturbing it other than water. That means give minimum. If you can give 6 or more, excellent, but I know in today's world 4 is enough. And the second thing which in diet, if you can control, which will control how much you eat, what you eat and all. Like, you must have heard chew 32 times. So you can set a rule that I will chew 32 times and I will not eat for more than 20 minutes. I guarantee you, you will not finish even a small plate of whatever you are eating. Forget about that big dinner plate. If you have this, if you are chewing 32 times and your time is 20 minutes fixed, you will be surprised only how much you can eat. So you will stop overeating. In the name of protein, we overeat. And then body has to spend your valuable energy in getting rid of that extra, whatever good thing you ate, but now it has become toxin because it is extra. And anything toxin, body has to take it out, otherwise it becomes poison for the body. So what is the point? We are overeating, wasting our energy just to take it out. Eat less.
Absolutely. And we eat like crazy, have biryanis and all that in the afternoon when we blame our body for being tired in the afternoon, right? And you suggest a couple of small experiments, simple experiments, which we can all try to reverse the age. I know we talked about a lot. Can we start with 1 or 2 simple experiments?
Absolutely. If you want to reverse age, do one thing, only one thing. We did before meditation, and that's the reason I follow this sequence. Relax the body, relax the mind, then meditation. Anyone who says, I cannot meditate, I cannot do anything, slow breathing, everyone can. If you observe, and everyone may be different, but your exhale and inhale, it's just 1 second and 2 seconds. Just double it. At least during meditation. And this is something that as you become mindful, during work and all, try to slow breathe. What it does, 1 second is not enough time because body comes into parasympathetic mode and it goes away. Parasympathetic is healing mode. The moment we just double it, but you have to be initially paying attention. Otherwise, we shallow breathe. Just take it. Just 1 extra second can do so much wonders that you will be amazed. Especially like, our day-to-day, like if you're measuring blood pressure, if you're measuring your pulse or any of those things, you will be like energy in the whole day, everything. Because now that extra 1 second is great for the body to stay in that parasympathetic or the health mode where it can balance. It can de-stress you without you doing anything.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think this is profound wisdom, and you can look at the chat. There's so much gratitude pouring in from everybody. On behalf of everyone, thank you so much. And we definitely would love to have you back in another concert. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity, and Masters for joining.